team came out, and offensively we did some good things again. Actually got 7 points in our first 3 possessions. I had a nice 3-point play from Logan Ellers in the post. We actually had their post in foul trouble, which is one of the strengths of their team, and felt really good offensively. The problem was we just weren't stopping them, and eventually that kind of broke our back. I think we watched yesterday we watched 10 minutes of it with our team, and during that 10-minute stretch we only had 3 stops during that entire stretch, and some of them really weren't defended that bad. There was actually hands in the face, but they have some tremendous shooters. They have a lot of good shooters, and we just weren't able to cover them all up at all times. And they eventually did build a 20-point lead on us, and we weren't ever really able to crack back into that. So after that, you know, tried to get our guys to go. Again, we had to get on the road, get down to UCCS in Colorado Springs. Again, mine was number 1. UCCS is number 2 in the league. So playing the top 2 teams on the road, we had to have a quick turnaround and get ready to go. And so we knew, though, with UCCS, we matched up pretty well with them inside. We've had a lot of success in the past in our post play against them. And so we were feeling pretty good about that. And so as we got into the game with them, we did just that. We were able to go inside of them quite a bit. Logan obviously had a great game at 21 points against them. Mitch Suker had a great game. He had 16 points, had a couple threes as well, and mixed in there with that. And obviously Alec Williams had a good game as well. And they're starting to pay a little bit more attention to him. Obviously they know that he's really good off the ball screen, and so early on they were really plugging up the lane with him. But as we started kind of moving the ball around and spreading the wealth a little bit, so to speak, they kind of had to spread out a little bit more on us, and things opened up later in the game as well. Unfortunately, the one area that we did not really do well in was free throws, and that's a big one, especially when you're on the road. You've got to win that battle. And we normally shoot about 72% from the field or from the free throw line, and that night we only shot 66%. And so you lose by 1, you know, that doesn't take much, and so that was kind of a hard one to swallow. We did get a shot. If you didn't see it online, we did get a shot up at the end. Wasn't the best look, but with 4.6 seconds left to go the length of the floor, at least we did get a shot off. And so Mitch Suker's shot just came off the mark. He shot it probably from about 30 feet out. So it was a little deep, but for the most part, like you said, we were pretty happy with our effort. Felt like we played 3 pretty darn good halves of basketball, and to come home with 2 losses was a little disheartening. We thought we played well enough to at least get a split. So we flip the page now, we head into this weekend, and we're pretty excited because now we've got 2 weekends straight to be at home. And it's kind of like, I feel like we've been on the road quite a bit, obviously still kind of lingering from that first semester where we went on that big road trip. So now it's kind of nice to know that we kind of say, whew, we get to not have to pack a bag, sleep in our own beds, and just kind of get ready to go. And we got 2 really good teams, I think, for us to play. You know, Colorado State Pueblo coming in on Friday night is what I would call a Jekyll and Hyde team. You just don't know which team you're going to see each night. You know, they've perfect examples. They played Regis and Colorado Christian here 2 weeks ago, and they played Colorado Christian the first night and beat them by about 40. Like 106 to 50 something or 60 something, and they turned around the next night and played Regis and got beat by 35. So you just don't know which team you're going to see. They're awfully talented. You can just tell that some nights they're just chemistry-wise they're just not quite there, especially on the offensive end when they have a tough time scoring. But then all of a sudden they start clicking, and next thing you know they start putting some points up. And so, obviously, on the defensive side, we're going to have to get out on a couple shooters. They don't have as many shooters as, say, Mines does, but they do have some decent play on the perimeter, and then they've got a couple really good post players and with good size. So that'll be a good challenge for our guys on the inside. We feel like that's one of our strengths in the post, so I think that's going to be a nice battle between us and them playing in the paint with those posts. On the next night, we have New Mexico Highlands, which is an extremely athletic team. They love to press. They kind of went away from it a little bit here right after Christmas, but they're back at it pretty strong again. I think they kind of found out that that's really their forte is to put a lot of pressure on you and try to turn you over. And so they did have a tough game, a couple games this last weekend, and they did lose at Shattering. but they just didn't turn Shattern over as much, I think, as they wanted, and weren't able to convert out of those turnovers when they did get them. And that's kind of what they rely upon. They do have a kid that's a heck of a shooter, and so we've got to obviously, stay close to him and keep him from getting anything good looks at the rim. But for the most part, we got to take care of the basketball, and we got to be able to attack the press at the same time. We obviously want to try to attack and get some easy layups and stuff, but at the same time, we got to have good judgment, make sure that we're not forcing things, and there's nothing wrong with pulling it out once in a while too and making them have to defend us for 30 seconds. So that's going to be kind of the plan for us going into it. Offensively, since we've been back from Christmas, we've been doing extremely well. So, we're really excited about, we still control our own destiny. We kind of maybe slipped about a half a game back in making the playoffs right now, but as I tell our guys, still, we basically play all those teams that are right in front of us. And so we still control our own destiny. And if we can kind of get on a roll here, and it's a good time to do it, we have 4 straight games at home, we can definitely get ourselves in a good position and hopefully try to get one of those playoff spots. So we're not really focusing a lot on that, but we just want them to know that there's still a lot to play for us. And even though we're fairly young and we're still learning, matter of fact, yesterday's practice, we needed a couple things we needed to fix. We had a heck of a practice, and it was very spirited. We were really encouraged as a staff to see that kind of effort out of them, because this time of year is kind of a scary time as a coach, because sometimes it gets to be a long season, gets to be a little bit of a grind, and our guys didn't show that at all. And they didn't show it this morning. We were back up, practice yesterday from 4 to 6, and we're back up at 6 a.m. this morning because of classes, and had good energy and enthusiasm again today. So we're really encouraged with where our mindset is at. And just need a couple more days to get ready for these 2 teams coming up, and I'm excited to see what kind of how we play, because I think that's a good spot for us to be in. Any questions from anybody? Yes?
I was just going to say, I watched Saturday's game on the internet, and the announcers were very complimentary of your team, saying that they were much better than the record indicates, and that the Rockers were really a good team.
Okay, well, that's about what my wife said. My wife said she had to turn them off.
They were kind of loud and
yeah, she said that when they finally said that, the second half's going to be a blowout, she said she decided to turn them off. She was tired of them. So, yeah, so. Well, no, I think we do get a lot of compliments, on the road from a lot of people, and especially when you hear it from your opponents about how hard our guys play. We really do play hard, and we're not playing perfect basketball, and you never are, but we got to play a little bit better. But if we continue to play as hard and practice as hard as we've been going, good things are going to happen. These guys are definitely playing hard enough to win games, and we just got to take care of these little things, because as you can see, for the most part, other than the Mines game, our games are pretty darn close. We're right in everything, and we just got to shore up a few things and hopefully be able to close the gap on that. Yes?
I was really proud of the guys. They worked hard. They looked good.
Yeah, we got a great group. They're a lot of fun to coach, and we're having a blast as a staff with them. And it makes it a lot easier to get on the floor every day when you're going to have great effort out of your guys.
Yeah.
Eric, compare Colorado Mines with Colorado Springs.
Well, quite honestly, Mines is just a team that they run just a simple motion. They move the ball extremely well. They share it. They got 2 seniors that I think really are key pieces for them, because they're fairly young in some other spots. And there were some times where we, especially in the first half, where we were kind of making some runs, and their seniors really stepped up for them. They're obviously very good inside, and they're very physical. They do a great job of offensive rebounding. They're number 1 in the conference in offensive rebounding, which I think is an incredible stat. I don't like using people as examples, but I kind of think it's stuck in our guys' craw a little bit too, to show them the stat that in our game, they got 41% of their misses, which wasn't many, but they got 41%, and on the flip side, we only got 17% of ours. So, they're a tremendous rebounding team. They're very disciplined. Very seldom do they leave the floor, and when you try to get in the paint on them, they usually send 4 to 5 guys down there, and they force you to kick it back out and then beat you on the perimeter. And then they get back out and try to challenge those shots as well. That's a lot like what we try to do, but right now, they're on the offensive side, they're just incredible. They just don't miss. They just got some guys that are really playing with a lot of confidence and shooting the ball extremely well. I don't know that we're as deep as they are in that area, but we are shooting the ball very well coming here back to the second semester. Before Christmas, we were shooting about 42% as a team, and since the games we've been back since Christmas, we're shooting right at 50%. So we're there coming along as well. Now UCCS on the flip side, they rely a lot more on some athleticism, a lot more dribble drive action. They really try. We actually changed up some things where we actually played the gaps a little bit more off the ball with them. And in their post play, they do have a couple big posts, but they're just not quite as a threat scoring-wise as the Mines posts are. And we actually did, Logan Ellers and Tristan Monita did a tremendous job on the Mines' post, so it held them under their average. And we actually held their leading scorer, which is a little guard out of Idaho, under his average as well. We held him under double figures, matter of fact. So, but that's kind of between the two. They're one likes a little bit more up tempo, where mine just kind of likes to methodically pick you apart and then hit you with a dagger.
Seems like there's a lot of parity in the conference. I think on Saturday night, all the games are decided by single digit except for one.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think you can see that, you know, from all the way, who's at the bottom now, I think it's still Western.
Yes.
I mean, Western State, just to put it in perspective, Western State started the season out by beating Air Force at Air Force, and then beat the number 4 team in Division II right now. I think they're still the number 4 is West Texas A&M. That's how they started the season. So, you know, obviously they're a really good team offensively. They've struggled defensively a little bit, and it's really, I think, probably the reason why they just haven't been able to pick up the wins. You got to be able to defend in this league. But then UCCS being number 2, there just isn't a big difference from top to bottom there. Now I would say Mines has separated themselves. They are just playing a different level than everybody else right now, and they may have a bad night, and so if they get beat, it's not going to be because necessarily they got beat. It'll probably just be a bad night for them, just because they're so disciplined and they do shoot the ball so well. But yeah, parity-wise, I don't know that I've seen this league this much parity especially from 2 to 16, all the way through on the men's side. Anybody else? Okay, thank you. Oh yes.
You talked a couple times about the balance of the team, and to me it's a different team than what I've seen in the past, because you don't focus just on a key post player or 1 or 2 people from the arc. I mean, you've got someone that, given a little space, can drive the lane. You've got post players that if they got an opening, they can score down there. You've got players that can hit the 3, and you've got players that can come cold off the bench and not miss a beat and not afraid to shoot the shot. And my question to you is, because the team was fairly young and you had new players, was it the team's ability that kind of got it to that balance, or did you personally try to steer it to that direction to get where you're at?
Well, you always would love to have balance. It doesn't always work out like that. Obviously, the 2 key additions of Alec Williams and Damani Hayes have given us the ability to put the ball on the floor and drive. That's something that we've kind of missed over the years. You're right, we've been more of a team that's just fed the post and really had to live off post play, and because that's how we can get the ball in the lane and get people to collapse better. But with those 2 guys and Alec's ability to use the ball screen, and now that's opened up things, it's opened up our shooters up some more as well. And you know, you always would love to have that kind of balance. Matter of fact, I was just kind of catching the end of the Nebraska-Rutgers game last night, and they made a comment on that you know, in the Nebraska team, it seemed like that a couple guys were just trying to make too many plays without playing a team style and spread the ball out. And when you get into conference play, you really do need that balance, because everybody knows you so well in conference. And when they prepare for you and they start knowing what your strengths are and things, if you just have one focus, then it's fairly easy to take that away. But if they got to worry about multiple things, and probably the UCCS game is a great example. With the way Alec has come back from Christmas, obviously he has had a tremendous start. You know, shooting 55% from the field, 50% from 3. Obviously dishing out, you know, 4 to 5 assists a game as well. UCCS was really determined to take him away in the lane, and so we were able to just kind of go away from him for a little bit. We ran a couple sets, got our shooters open, they knocked down some shots, and then we really went to our posts. and all of a sudden they had to worry about something else. And when they had to start worrying about that, then all of a sudden, now as the game went on, things started opening up for Alec. And if you notice that his first half probably wasn't quite as spectacular, but his second half was pretty darn good. And it really wasn't because he was having a bad half, it was just that there wasn't a lot of room in the lane for him to get to the rim, and then he was able to start getting to the rim in the second half. Anyone else?
Eric,
Yes?
Armac, I noticed, has several schools that are basketball-only schools that don't have football, so they can concentrate everything on basketball. How does that affect basically the competitive balance in the conference?
Oh, I'm sure there's probably something to that a little bit. I don't know how to put a finger on it, you know. Bottom line is we all have 5 players we're putting on the floor. So, you know, we want our 5 to be better than their 5 and play better as a team. So we don't concern ourselves with those things. You don't control those kind of things, so why worry about them? And we just want to continue to focus on what things we can control. Anybody else? All right, I got peppered pretty good. Thank you. All right. But hey, we got a great 4-game homestand. We look forward to seeing you all there. You know, excited to be at home, and hopefully we can get this thing turned around and make a nice little run towards the playoffs here towards the end. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Coach Glenn. I can honestly say I think he has, I love watching his young athletes play. They are some explosive, and they're fun, and I think they're really kind of starting to come together at the right time during the season. So I'm looking forward to this 4-game home stretch. I think there's good things going to happen for the men's basketball team going forward here. And with that, we need to bring up Coach Larsen, the head women's basketball coach. I think we switched it around. Brad told me today is to give Ryan the opportunity to razz Eric a little bit instead of the other way around. So please welcome Ryan up here.
Thanks everybody showing up. Thanks Maria. A lot of positives to take away from the weekend. The biggest positive is there was no shot clock malfunctions. I hope Joel's watching right now. I just thought of that. But yeah, a lot of positives. First thing we got some gentlemen we got to thank the football coaches here. Those of you that don't know. The football coaches came and practiced with us last week. We had 5 of them, well, the entire staff, for 2 days in a row, practicing with us. That was a real hoot. I really got a kick out of that. You know, the one exception was Coach Tinker had to be the main player to get all the shots. We got him the ball a little bit. He just couldn't execute it. But I can't thank those guys enough for helping us out last week. I told our ladies, I really mean this. You know, I've been at a number of different schools. Nothing against football coaches, but I don't know a football staff in the entire country that would take time out of their day. They came right from their workouts to help us out, and they really got after it. They ran some good stuff. They helped us a bunch, so thank you guys a bunch. And now you're probably wondering, why'd you get the football staff to come practice with you? Well, yeah, we are down to 7 bodies. We had 7 bodies on the bus last week, and you know, 6 of them were healthy. And so, you know, it's a real struggle right now. It is. You know, despite that, you know, I'm very, very pleased with, number one, the effort that our young ladies put forth. You know, last week I was so consumed with, you know, as a coach, you know, more than coaching, it's, you know, the mentality of your team. All right, how can we keep this group together? How can we keep their spirits up? How can we keep them believing? Well, and this is the honest truth, I didn't have to worry about that one bit. I really didn't. This group is, they are determined yet. You know, they're accepting of the situation that we are in. They're not feeling sorry for themselves. And they're actually really embracing it. You know, they kind of dubbed themselves the Super 7 this week. And that's how we broke the huddle every single time. That's really darn special. You know, that's very abnormal. You know, wouldn't put a percentage on it or anything like that, but majority of teams out there in a situation that we're in right now, you know, it is really easy to take it and fold up and say, well, it was it was a fun year. That's not our mentality at all, not one bit. And if you had a chance to watch us play Friday and Saturday, you would have saw just that. What a fantastic effort that we put forth. Friday's game at Colorado Mines, I give Colorado Mines a lot of credit. Watching them early in the year, they were kind of struggling a little bit, trying to find themselves. They switched their lineup a little bit, starting to play some younger kids, and it's really helped them. They are playing as good as anybody we've come across in the past couple of weeks, as far as offensively, defensively. I also give them credit. We game planned defensively, really shut down a couple of their post players, and they countered that. They countered that really well. They knew exactly what we were going to try to do from years past, how we defend them normally, and had success. And they threw us off quite a bit defensively in what they did, and that kind of put a wrench in our mindset a little bit, how we were defending, because we practiced all week of taking away certain players and how we're guarding this ball screen. We're going to double here, that type of stuff. And they played on the perimeter a lot more than I thought, so I give them a lot of credit. On the flip side of that, it's easy for players. Well, they're not doing that. What we game planned for, we kind of just lost track of, again, defensive principles that we work on daily. And we gave up some open shots, from the arc quite a bit. We didn't guard the ball as well as we needed to. And they scored it pretty efficiently against us. But they're a really good team. Offensively, I was pretty darn pleased with the way we played. We had a lot of good looks. Melissa Johnstone was very aggressive on the block. She is now starting to figure that out for us. Sometimes this doesn't happen with male athletes a lot. It's more so with female athletes. They kind of want to feel their way out a little bit. They want to get in a groove. They want to pass a little bit more than what we need them to. And last week, Coach B and myself, we pulled her aside a couple different times, and we said, Mel, all right, your freshman field out type mentality, it's got to be over. We need you to be aggressive. And she certainly was. She took it at a couple of really good post players on both nights, and that was a really good sign for us. The other thing that we are going to need for us to be successful here for the remainder of the year is we need Taylor Molstead and Sammy Stefik to be really aggressive from here on out, because they're going to be on the floor. I think between I don't remember exactly, I did look, but I think Sammy played a total of 79.5 minutes, and I think Taylor played like a total of 78 minutes or something like that for the entire weekend. So if they're going to be on the floor, they got to really shoot it, and they have to be aggressive, and those two certainly did that. But we got to start to get some protection from those two and also everybody else as well. But I mean it, Friday, we had just a tremendous effort. I was extremely pleased with the way we played. I give Mines more credit than anything, the way they countered us, how we were defending them. Saturday, going back to Mines again quickly, it was a 2-possession game for a little bit to start the fourth quarter. So it wasn't like they totally ran away from us. It was a much closer game than what the scoreboard finally showed at the end of the game. Saturday, we came out at shoot around. I told Coach Bondler and Coach Richter, I said, make me play zone tonight. Make me play zone. One, again, when you're playing 7 kids, 6 of them healthy. Here's a funny story you're going to like though. So in the Colorado Mine game, about the start of the fourth quarter, one of our players goes down on the floor. And I kind of buried my head in my hands for about 10 seconds, did a quick little prayer, started walking towards whoever's lying on the floor. And their doors leading out to the gym were on that end. And I saw those doors and I just thought to myself, I may just keep walking out this door right now. This young lady is severely hurt. I'm just going to keep going. But thankfully she'll be able to play. But that's my mindset right now. Back to Saturday. We played pretty much 40 minutes of zone. Our zone was fantastic. We really had them messed up a little bit of how we were guarding them. We made some really nice adjustments to how they could try to counter us, and it was really effective. The problem is we had a lot of good shots, and as hard as this is for me to say, when you're playing 6.5 kids, 7 kids, as many minutes as we were, we had good shots. Those tired legs are going to come in effect. And I would love to, you know, pound my fist up here and say, well, we got to make shots. I'm a little more realistic than that. You know, we had a lot of good shots. Our legs are absolutely shot, and that's how you shoot the basketballs, with your legs. And they just weren't going in. So I am very, very happy to be at home this week, because that trip definitely takes it out of you. Anytime, I don't care how far you travel, if you're on the bus, you know, your legs go quite a bit quicker than normal. But I mean that. You have a lot of things to be proud of, our young ladies, and the first thing is the way how hard they're playing, and their mentality right now. All right, our mentality hasn't changed one bit. You know, this weekend, we plan on winning twice. We do. We plan on winning twice. Colorado State Pueblo is a very athletic team, probably roster-wise, 1 through 15, how many's on the roster, probably the most athletic team. They have a guard who's leading in scoring. I think she has, you know, close to 53s on the season right now in 17 games, which is pretty impressive. And she shoots a lot of them on her own. You know, she's the type of kid that can do a couple dribbles, step back, and knock it down. So she's going to be extremely tough for us to guard. And then they got 2 post players that are just big, strong, and athletic. So we're going to have to really pay attention there. The neat thing about the situation that we're in, it puts us as coaches in a situation where we can really kind of get crafty in our defensive game plans now. All right, you know, if it's either zoning the team a lot, you know, tweaking our zone a little bit, or just, you know, junking it up a little bit. And you know, I'm just crazy enough to really enjoy that. And we're looking forward to that. Coach Richter and I, we're talking a lot about Pueblo already and ways we can scheme against them. And offensively as well. You know, if those kids the kids that we have, you know, play so many minutes, you know, we got to find better situations to put them in, and we will certainly be able to do that. So really looking forward to that. New Mexico Highlands is a much improved team from the year before. They got 2 players on the roster that just about anybody in the RMAC would be happy to have. Okay, so they're going to be really tough to guard. But I mean it. Our mindset hasn't changed. We could have 5 players with this group right now, and they're going to expect to go play well, and not just play well, play hard, but to get victories. And that's what's really, really special about this group, and that's why they're so fun to coach. Yes. Eric, did you take all the questions for me?
I got one.
Yes, please, John.
You know, thinking about what you were talking about with your playing more zone, is that what you anticipate doing this weekend to try to save those kids a little bit of energy? I know man-to-man is probably quite a bit tougher to play.
Well, it is. You know, and a lot of it is, you know, how teams play and personnel. Colorado Mines, I would love to play a lot more zone. But, you know, the first time they see a zone, they're going to bring 3 kids off the bench that, you know, really, really shoot it. And that's tough to do. That's really tough to do. You know, Pueblo, they got the 1 dynamic shooter, but after that, you know, they struggle from the arc a little bit. So we will be able to play a lot more zone against Pueblo, you know, and a Highlands team as well. You know, you still have to play really hard and compete in a zone.
You do.
You know, you do. Yeah, it does help, you know, save your legs a little bit. You know, even playing 40 minutes of zone against Colorado Springs, you know, we still, kind of the difference in the game there where they got some points where they were spread it against us. And, you know, that was a 1-point game, you know, in the second half as well. But where they spread it was they got a couple offensive rebounds against us. You know, and that's fatigue. And then, you know, they would dive some players from the weak side where we just weren't fast enough to get over there and cover that up, and got some easy layups there. You know, so you still have to work really hard defensively in a zone. But yeah, we'll definitely look to play it a lot more and try to steal some possessions that way for sure.
I like the way we played it. When we watched it at home, when we played it at home, it was really fun to watch front the post and then the weak side have to scoot to get to the arc on that scoot pass. But
and I meant to say this, but you know, Sammy Stefik she was an absolute defensive demon in that zone. She had 4 steals in the game, but I think she must have had at least 5 or 6 tip balls too. She was playing it extremely well. When you have a 5'10" long guard up there, can really cover ground. That helps a bunch. I do think we will have 7 healthy bodies this weekend. You know, so we'll have a young lady that will be able to come in and suck up quite a few more minutes. You know, I say 6.5 because we traveled 7, but the one was not healthy, and that that will help tremendously. That will help tremendously. You know, again, without naming names, I don't think we're going to be 7 throughout the year. Hopefully, we can get one more back. It'd be the Elite 8. That'd be fantastic. When that's going to happen, I don't know. But at some point this season, you know, we will get one more back. But again, thanks to the football staff. You know, we normally like to bring in, you know, former athletes to help us out as practice players. We weren't able to find many this year, so we kind of opened it up to the players. And hey, if you guys have any buddies that want to come help us out at practice, now we got like 6, 7 guys wanting to help us out. So we're good there, guys. We appreciate your help, but you're done. We got it covered. Looking forward to playing against some other athletes for sure. Any other questions for me? All right, I'm going to say it again. Hey, when you're low in numbers, you know, we need as many fans as we can get. Okay, strengthen numbers in the stands this weekend. Okay, all right. Fatigue won't set in nearly enough. You guys are stomping your feet, hooting and hollering, that type of stuff. That's going to juice us up, get us going. We will not get tired with your guys in Goodell Gym this weekend. But appreciate your support and thanks for all you do.
All right, thanks, Coach Larsen. I think when you watch his gals play, the mental toughness is what I see, and I think that they will follow through with that this home stretch, and that's going to be nice to have them at home. So we'll be in the crowd cheering for you. Now we have our track coach, Steve Johnson. He's going to come up. They were in action Sunday down in Chadron, and he's going to talk a little bit about that. Okay?
Thank you. Yeah, we went down to Chadron on Sunday. It's a bit unusual for us to have a Sunday meet, so that meant we had to move some things around with our practice schedule a little bit. We usually take Sunday as our day off. But the kids really took it in stride. We didn't have the best performances that we didn't have quite the performances we were looking for on the short sprint side. But our kids hit basically from 400 through about 3,000 meters, really took it to town. We had 16 PRs on Sunday, and the bulk of those came in that 400 to 3,000 meter range. We saw quite a few of our kids move up on the conference list. I think right now, just roughly off the top of my head, I think we've got about 15 kids or so sitting in the top 20 in the conference. We've got 4 that are sitting in the top 10 in the conference after last weekend. Erica Keeble is tied for number 1 in the vault. And then we've got Jonathan Murray is sitting 3rd in the 400 meters. Andy Ferris is 5th at 800 meters. And the new one, with a new school record by the way, Ryan Moen is sitting 9th in the conference. Now, those 3 guys though have a little bit of an unfortunate distinction right now. They're all sitting in the top 10 in the conference. They're also the first guy in their events that don't have a national qualifying mark. So we've got a little bit of work to do on that part. For Jonathan, it's like 0.2 of a second. It's minuscule. Andy's got about a second and a quarter or so, which at 800 meters is tough. But we're really just getting rolling with him, and he's just finally starting to figure out how to run an indoor track. Which is good because a lot of his indoor races, let's just say they don't end very well. Running turns indoors is a lot harder than it is outdoors because the turns are that much tighter, and when you're 6'2", you don't necessarily, and you don't like to lean, it makes running indoors real hard because you have to, that's really the key to success indoors. If we could get to a bank track ever, that'd be fantastic, but I don't know, we won't this season. UCCS finally put one in this year. That's the closest one to us. Other than that, the only other one I know of that's even within a driving distance is Bozeman, and that'd be a fun one because that's a wood track. You don't see a lot of those anymore. And then looking at the 3,000, that's going to be a little bit of a tall task. But this was Ryan's first 3K or second 3K. His first one that he raced. He paced his first. He was pacing a teammate in his first one. So he's got to take about 10 seconds off to get a provisional mark there, which we get him in the right race. If we can get him into the conference meet in that race, he's got a good shot at doing that. It just won't look very fast because it's going to be at 7,500 feet. So we get to go to Adams State this year for the indoor conference, so that'll be a tough challenge for us. But those were definitely the highlights. Jonathan, in his 400, ran a fantastic race. Thought for a second he was going to get past coming around that last turn. He had the number 4 guy in the conference sitting on his heels, and this guy's beat him almost every time they face head-to-head in 200 meters. So I know Jonathan had a little extra going for him in that race, and it showed at the end because he actually managed to pull away a little bit at the end and get the win there. Andy got a nice win. He actually, the guy, Colorado Mines sent up their good 800 runner. He's got a 151 time on the books right now, and so Andy was gunning for him. Andy's raced him a few times now, and so far he hasn't lost. So if we can get the two of them to both put a good race together on the same day, we'll see something really special happen. So this week we go up to Black Hills State. We've got a real good opportunity that we just found out about. Kind of all came into the works over the weekend. They're adding a DMR to the schedule for Friday night. So it means we change our training schedule a little bit, but Black Hills State has a DMR that has a real good shot at qualifying for the national meet. When I look at it on paper, our DMR has potential to get a provisional qualifying mark if we run a perfect race. That's the catch. Trying to get 4 guys to run a perfect race at the same time on the same day, that's the tough task. But should be a real good one. Rocky Mountain, it sounds like, is going to put a team in as well. They've got a guy that ran 4:22 in the mile at Bozeman. The only catch with Rocky is that they don't have quite the depth that Black Hills has, but it should be a good opportunity nonetheless. And then the rest of and they'll do the weight throw that night as well, and then the rest of the meet will be on Saturday, starting at about 10:30. And I know they've got Dickinson and Rocky Mountain coming, I think, and Shattern maybe sending some of the distance kids up. So should be a good opportunity for us to try and get some more fast time. The other good thing that comes out of this one is that we're going to get an opportunity in the 5K, which is really hard to find indoors. So get a chance to really see where some of our long distance kids are at in that 5K, and excuse me, and we'll kind of see what we do. I haven't quite decided on Ryan whether we're going longer or shorter with him yet. We want to kind of focus in on that 3K a little bit more, I think, though, with where it's going right now. Questions?
Is Ryan Mullen the freshman?
Yeah. Yep. Ryan is a freshman out of Colorado Springs. Yeah, he was the 3A state champ last year in Colorado in both the mile and the 2 mile. Other questions? All right, well, thank you.
All right, Coach, thanks. I think your Saturday, Black Hills, you mentioned. I forgot to mention when I started, my name is Maria. I'm the executive director of the Hardrock Club. If I have not met you yet, I thought maybe you'd be confused, thinking I was a much shorter, better looking version of Joe looking, but I needed to clear that up, right? So my door is always open. If I haven't met you, I look forward to meeting you. Obviously, big basketball weekend at Homestead for the men's and women's teams. So hope to see you all there. Starts Friday night, 5:30 p.m. So bring your loud, cheering voice, and I look forward to seeing all of you there. Okay. One more thing, and thanks to Pizza Ranch. This is a great venue to have it. Do you guys enjoy this, obviously? Right, yeah. So thanks to Pizza Ranch for having us here.
All right.